Hi everyone, everyone who's online. I am going to mute you just to make sure that we have optimal sound for everyone. With love, you'll be able to unmute yourself later on. Okay.
Did you mute him? You did. And I didn't mute. That's interesting. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And Chag Sameach as well, because we are in the midst of one of the most beautiful Jewish holidays. To be able to be out here in our gorgeous courtyard, both with a community of people in person, a community of people online whose presence is so very much felt here right now. To be able to welcome in Shabbat amidst this festival of joy is nothing short of beautiful and miraculous that we are here. And so we're going to start our celebration tonight by lighting the candles, and I want to invite up Michael and Sandy Sturman to lead us in that blessing.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Yeah.
And I'm impressed. You got those candles, despite all this wind, they are burning. So, Mazal Tov, it's better than I've been able to do recently. Into this sanctuary, we have brought the symbols of the lulav that resembles the human spine. May we stand straight with courage and integrity. The myrtle whose leaves are shaped like eyes. May we behold the beauty and grandeur of the universe. The willow whose leaves resemble human lips. May we offer enduring words. The etrog shaped like the human heart. May love guide us from selfishness to service. God of Israel, let our senses be filled with love for you and your will. Let our harvest be shared with all. We move into our songs about this pretty awesome Sukkot line.
what we need to build a sukkah for this holiday. First we build a frame of wood and cover it with branches. Lots of fun to do. But don't forget that we must see the sky peeking at us through the roof. This is what we need to build a sukkah. Wood and branches, a hammer and nails. This is what we need to build a sukkah for this holiday. Now it's time to hang the apples, carrots, and bananas, pears and popcorn too. But don't forget that we must see the sun peeking at us through the roof. This is what we need to build a sukkah. Wood and branches, a hammer and nails. This is what we need to build a sukkah for this holiday. After it is finished, we can eat inside the sukkah. We can sleep there too. But don't forget that we must see the stars peeking at us through the roof. This is what we need to build a sukkah. Wood and branches, a hammer and nails. This is what we need to build a sukkah for this holiday.
Because we couldn't have a sukkah service without that song. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't be allowed. So there we go. We got our sukkah song in. And now we transition to welcoming in the Sabbath bride, so that we can celebrate this beautiful day for all the blessings
through which you entered tonight. Boim shalom ateret ba'ala, gam besimcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, bori chala.
So I mentioned, at least briefly, a little bit about the power of these symbols. And the lulav, as we know, is a symbol for our very spine, that which keeps us upright. In the Tanakh, it says, "He who walks upright shall come to peace. He shall have rest." The lulav reminds us that in times of joy and in times of challenge, we must always strive to stand upright, filled with honor and courage. And now we continue to stand upright as we turn to our call to worship.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch et Adonai, Amidah. Baruch Adonai, Torah, Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. Galalai, lai, lai, 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 galalai, lai, lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'avim haravim v'chokma poteach she'avim. God of creation, who makes the evening fall, from light into darkness, with the setting of the sun. You unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars, and wrap our souls with peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'avim haravim v'chokma poteach she'avim. Baruch atah Adonai Amariv Aravim.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Do you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. So we talked about the sign that we have, but the symbols of Sukkot are so diverse. And so as I mentioned earlier, we have this symbol. They're hiding in there a little bit, but we have this willow, the arabot, a symbol for our human lips. And the Torah there we go. The Torah teaches gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, God, my rock and my redeemer. As we head into our prayer, the Shema, one of our central prayers in our tradition, we do so cognizant of the fact that every word we speak has incredible import. And may our words of prayer come from a place of true love, come from a place of humility and integrity, and inspire us to use our words wisely in the weekend.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Just as we have these symbols for our lips and our spine, so too do we have a symbol of the myrtle or hadass, symbol of our eyes. May we see blessings all around us. Oops. There we go. The Torah says, open my eyes that I might see wonderful things in your law. Now there's a story that I'm planning on bringing up at some point during the mud run that Sisterhood is doing tomorrow, because it feels appropriate to bring in midrashim about mud. But it's a story relating to the Milchamocha prayer. That there was this great big miracle that the Israelites were witness to, that the waters parted and they can walk forth to freedom. And yet there is a Jewish story, a midrash, that talks about two people who walked through the mud saying, oh, this stuff is so yucky, this stuff is so gross, mud here, it's all the same. This was just not a fun journey to be on. And because they didn't open their eyes to the miracle that was before them, they didn't realize what had been going on. They didn't realize that they had in fact been freed. May we be reminded by this myrtle to open our eyes to the beauty around us, because otherwise there might be so many blessings that we simply fail to see. And let's join together in singing the Milchamocha
אמר גבעת אדוני את יעקב גלון יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Return to our Hashkidinu prayer, a prayer in which we recognize that there is so much in life beyond our control. And yet all of us, no matter our position, no matter what we're going through, we all feel the sheltering presence of God over us. Indeed, this very Sukkot, this symbol behind us, is related to God's presence like the clouds over the Israelites when they were walking through the desert. May we feel that as we offer our Hashkidinu prayer.
Hashkidenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Ve'amidenu shomereinu lechaim. Hashkidenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Ve'amidenu shomereinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha ushmor tzedekenu vo'enu Uveros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha ushmor tzedekenu uvo'enu. Hashkidenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Ve'amidenu shomereinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai aporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Israel ve'al Yerushalayim. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיו. בריבונם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. שבת, שבת ויהי נפש. שבת, שבת ויהי נפש.
to the Zohar, the great men and women of scripture are our invisible companions inside the sukkah. We summon our divine guests, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, Sarah and Rebecca and Leah and Rachel, Moses and Aaron and David, and Miriam and Hannah and Deborah, and so many others. We welcome you as we welcome all visitors, all who hunger and thirst, all who seek you. Eternal God, spread over us a Sukkot Shlomecha, your shelter and peace. Surround us with your radiance, your great presence. We are all guests in your holy abode. I invite you to rise. I invite you to rise for the Amidah in body or in spirit.
Adonai sevatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehillatcha. Adonai sevatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehillatcha. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם וזאת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב ומושיע, מוריד הטל. מחכה לחיים מחסד, מחיי הכל ברכה, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים לאמונתו, לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך. מלך מביט ומחייך ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please continue with the words of the prayer books. If you don't have a prayer book, which I realize we're already been on the street, there are prayer books right outside. You're always invited to grab one of those. But you can go into the prayer books on pages 54 to 62, or simply continue with the prayers of your heart. And please be seated whenever you feel ready to do so.
Shalom Rab Yisrael Amecha Hasid Leolam. Shalom Rab Yisrael Amecha Hasid Leolam. Ki atahu melech hador lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech hador lechol hashalom. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amecha Hasid Leolam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amecha Hasid Leolam. Etov be'einecha levavet et Amecha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amecha Hasid Leolam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amecha Hasid Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. שלום רב ישראל עמך תעשי לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תעשי לעולם. תעשי לעולם. תעשי
So we are going to pause right now because we are turning to our Torah part of the service. And we're going to be reading from a special section. So essentially, because we're in the middle of a holiday, we're not continuing with the Torah readings. We finished reading the Torah last Friday night, right? And we're not yet ready to begin again. That'll happen on Monday night. So today we have a special Sukkot passage. We also read it during Passover. It comes up a lot of different times. And we're going to be focusing on just 4 verses, the beginning of Exodus 34. It's verses 1 to 4 for anyone who wants them, who has them on their phone, anywhere else, to follow along. And for the Aliyah, we're going to take the Torah out in just a second, but for the Aliyah, we're going to be inviting everyone who has a birthday or an anniversary in this month of September in order to do the Aliyah around.
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah la'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
There we go.
So is there anyone here who has a birthday or an anniversary this month?
Yay.
We have, you're even brave enough to raise your hands and volunteer. So I'm gonna give you the prayer book, and you can come up here. I'm gonna move out of the way. This way everyone can hear you. We'll do it with you.
Oh, we got a birthday. It's Catherine's birthday.
You're welcome to come up as well if you'd like. No? Okay. We'll still give you a blessing, even if you don't come.
Absolutely.
I promise.
Do it right across the street.
I would. Okay.
But these two are. Baruch Adonai Avraham Le'olam.
Baruch Adonai Avraham Le'olam. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe ושא לך שני לוחות אבנים כראשונים וכתבתי על הלוחות את הדברים אשר היו על הלוחות הראשונים אשר שיברת והיה נכון לבוקר ועלית בבוקר אל הר סיני וניצבת לי שם על ראש ההר ואיש לא יעלה עמך וגם איש וגם איש אל ירא בכל ההר, גם הצאן והבקר אל יראו אל מול ההר ההוא, ויפסול שני לוחות אבנים כראשונים. וישכם משה בבוקר ויעל אל הר סיני כאשר ציווה אדוני אותו, ויקח בידו שני לוחות אבנים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
And it's your anniversary, right?
Yes.
So we are so blessed to be able to offer you a blessing for your anniversary. How long have you been married?
53.
53 years. Maybe I'll be blessed. It's such fun. Yeah. Are there people who have an anniversary? Actually, I don't know if you can even hear me. I think I'm talking without a microphone. I see that Bill and Sunny have an anniversary. Shelly Zerkis writes that you guys have an anniversary. Beautiful. Is there anyone else online who has an anniversary in the month of September? Is there anyone else here now that you don't need to come up and do an aliyah? You're willing to admit it? Okay, so for all of you online, for all of you in person, I'd love to offer you this blessing. May Shabarach Avotenu v'Imotenu. May the one who blessed our matriarchs and patriarchs before us under the canopy of life commitment bring blessing to you as you celebrate your anniversary. Many and varied have been your experiences since your wedding day. You've gone through joys, you've gone through trials. And God, you have been with them throughout it all. So may you, God, continue to be with them for many, many years to come. As your marriage has brought such blessing, enriching the lives of all those who are blessed to know you, so may the blessings you've enjoyed continue to overflow with health and goodness, with joy and life-affirming spirit filling your hearts. We celebrate your sacred partnership for years upon years, and together let us all say, Amen. Yasher Koach, thank you so much. And thank you so much, everyone online. I hope that you have a truly wonderful anniversary. And I know we have at least one birthday here. Is there anyone else who's celebrating a birthday? Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you how old you are unless you want to share it. Is there anyone online who has a birthday in the month of September?
Sherry has a birthday in the month of
Terry
September,
Chapman, how lovely.
and she's 63 now.
So I'd love to offer this blessing for all of you who have birthdays in the month of September. Mishaberach Avotinu v'Imotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sararicha Rachel v'Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessings to you as you celebrate your birthday this year. Looking back at a life well lived so far and looking forward to the challenges and joys to come, know that all of us in the congregation pray for your continued strength and well-being, that your passion remains strong and your joy undimmed, and that this year is truly filled with a myriad of blessings. We ask God's blessing on you, that you shall go from strength to strength and from blessing to blessing. And together, let us all say, Amen. I invite you to rise as we flip to the Torah for all to see.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. וזאת התורה, וזאת התורה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, לפני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה, 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 וזאת התורה.
You may be seated. So during Sukkot each year, there's a couple of quintessential texts that we study. And one of them is the Book of Ecclesiastes. It's the one time of year that we study Ecclesiastes. And we could study it any time, but it's the one time a year that we are, as part of our celebration, called to study Ecclesiastes. Some attribute this book to King Solomon in his later years, sharing wisdom from a place of maturity that could only be achieved through experience. And as he reflects on his life, and he thinks about his attempts to experience the fullness of life, his attempts to gain possessions and houses and vineyards, he realizes that as important as those things seemed to be at the time, he comes to the conclusion that that isn't what's most important. Our possessions can fall away. Our sense of security can vanish. We know this all too well. He comes to a conclusion and says over and over throughout Ecclesiastes, Hevel Hevelim, Hakol Hevel, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Everything in life is temporary, he explains. And he talks about, in the second book of Ecclesiastes, how angry that made him at a period of time. That he loathed life and he was distressed by how much was outside of his control, how much he worked for that could potentially fall away, about the precariousness and temporary nature of all that we know and live. But it is then that Ecclesiastes comes to a really fascinating conclusion. Yes, there is so much uncertainty in life, he teaches. So why not enjoy it and make the most of it? Solomon seems to stumble upon an answer, one that doesn't fully respond to despair, one that doesn't fully satisfy, but upon reflection is the best response, teaches Rabbi Adam Spock-Spilker. His answer is Simchat, joy. Respond to life with joy, no matter its challenges, no matter its embattlements. The word Simcha actually appears more times in the Book of Ecclesiastes in Kohelet than in the entire Torah. Joy only appears one time in Genesis, one in each of the other books, except for Deuteronomy, which has 12 references. But Solomon speaks of Simcha 17 times in the Book of Kohelet. One of the most depressing books in our Tanakh has more joy than all the rest of Torah. Sukkot is a holiday of joy. The Torah teaches that on Sukkot, you shall rejoice and you shall have nothing but joy. Sukkot is the most vulnerable holiday of the entire year. We celebrate it just a few days after Yom Kippur when we contemplate our mortality. We live for a week in the elements, into this sukkah, where if it's windy, if it's raining, we're in it, right? There's no way of running away from it. We have to brave whatever storms come our way, and yet this is the most joyous holiday of the year. Why? Why should this be so joyful? Rabbi Rachel Sabbath Behalachmi offers one possibility when she says, if we've really been forgiven on Yom Kippur, if the world is truly renewed and freedom is real, then Sukkot is the culmination of all we've ever dreamed or prayed for. It is a climactic moment. How could we not be joyful? On Yom Kippur, as we know, we strip away our pretenses, our false ideas. We're honest with ourselves about our lives, about the state of our worlds. We let go of the world as we wish it was, and we accept it as it is. We embrace the opportunity that we are given to create a radically different future. What could be more joyful? Irving Greenberg explains in his book, The Jewish Way, Living the Jewish Holidays, only those who know the fragility of life can truly appreciate the full preciousness of every moment. The release from Yom Kippur leads to the extraordinary outburst of life that is Sukkot. There's one other text that we come across this evening, and that's the text that the cantor read from the Torah just a few moments ago. And I picked out just 4 specific verses very purposefully, because within those 4 verses, it talks about the 10 Commandments. And it talks about how the 10 Commandments were placed in this ark, but when it talks about the 10 Commandments, it uses the 10 Commandments in the plural to demonstrate that there are 2 sets of the 10 Commandments that are placed in the ark. One of them is the whole set of 10 Commandments that the people received and then were able to carry on from. But the other one was the 10 Commandments that were shattered when Moses came down the mountain and had shattered them years before. And this is a symbol that is really, really important because our lives aren't perfect, right? They could have taken those shattered pieces of the 10 Commandments and hidden them away, buried them underground, ignored them, pretended they didn't exist, that we were always a perfect people, that life is perfect. We could have just completely shied all of that away, but there's a specific point to include those shattered pieces inside of the ark. And that point is to say, yeah, we know life isn't perfect. We know that in our everyday lives. None of us are perfect. The world, as we know, is far from being perfect. And yet there's holiness in our brokenness. There's holiness in every aspect of our being, and we can truly find some joy and some wholeness even in that brokenness. Sukkot is a complex set of variations on the theme of life. Life stripped of all illusions of security, teaches Rabbi Jonathan Sacks. It tells us that home, like immortality, is in how we live, not where or for how long. It is a festival of a people who have known more starkly than any other that the canopy of faith is the only shelter we have. And it is no small testimony that we can gather beneath its shade and sing. So tonight, let us sing. Let us rejoice, because this is the life we have, and it is indeed filled with so many blessings. So one of our blessings is that we have someone in our community who has written such a beautiful, actually more than one someone, a couple of someones in our community who wrote a beautiful piece of music. Sandy Sherman, who wrote the lyrics, and Tom Rosenberg, who wrote the melody. And I would love to invite you up to play this beautiful blessing for all of us.
You know, the words that Sandy wrote are just really beautiful, and I think they're up here. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. In our Sukkot, let's rejoice. Let's embrace that sacred choice. Let's remember who we are and where we've been. When our hearts are open wide, God will dwell inside. Faith will be the space that lets God in. Sitting in God's shelter and wings, proving we don't need many things. Oh no, feeling the joy renewal brings. Sitting in God's shelter rings. We will honor every guest. Know that we are blessed to be renewed on this holiday. There's a sukkah in us too, and all we need to do is find that place. It's just a breath away, and we'll be sitting in God's shelter and wings, proving we don't need many things. Oh no, feeling the joy a new old breeze. Sitting in God's shelter rays. When we come together, we are strong. When we reach for each other, we all belong. And when we love our neighbor, there's a holy song heaven sings. And we'll be sitting in God's shelter and wings, proving we don't need many things. Oh no, feeling the joy in God, in God's sheltering.
Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you so much, Sandy, as well. Absolutely. In the presence of Torah, we pause to offer a prayer of healing for everyone in our community, for everyone in our world who is in need of healing of mind, healing of body, or healing of spirit. I want to invite all of you who are online to write down the names of anyone for whom you'd like to offer this prayer. And for everyone here, I invite you to say them as my arm goes around the room.
Very good. Hillary Whittam. Lord Litt.
Robbie, help me.
Erwin Share.
Erwin Share. Bird Ruler. Ronnie Silverstone.
Katie Frankel, Robin Gregson.
Pepper Rothstein, Dan Cook, Wilson. Bobby Cook. There's a lot of names on mine. Give me 1 second. I want to say all of those names out loud as well. Josh Strock, Carol Gottfried, Jennifer Hamburg-Roski, Steve Janowski, Martha Tennessee, Hannah Brooks, Pam, Daniel, Marty Spiegel, the Harrison family, Sunny, Susie, Casey Felker, Josh Montgomery, Bobby Cook, Erwin Share, Leah Eliana Bachester, Karen LeBoy, Eileen Edinger, Adam Summerstein, Judah Rosen, Denise Tiu, Barbara Finkelstein. For everyone whose names I've said out loud, for everyone whose names we hold silently in our hearts, let us together offer this prayer in hopes of a speedy and complete recovery.
May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say,
Not yet.
Amen.
I'll close the window in a minute.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah, Shema, renewal of body, renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, God, whose healing presence is with all of those in need, and we also. Amen.
We also take a moment to think about people who have died this time in years past, who are deeply in our thoughts. This Shabbat, we are thinking about Harriet Allen, Helene Appel, Arthur Astheimer, Joseph Beiserman, Dora Berlin, John Berlin, Edward Brickman, Mary Bruno, Joseph Mordecai Burak, Genoveva Elizalves, Regina Gellenfriends, Nadine Greenberg, Sidney Gren, Yeheskel Hauptman, Manuel Jacobo, Fred Harvey Hyman, Estelle Caston, Abe Caston, Francis Katz, Richie Kaufman, Eugene Kirchner, Malcolm Mark Horn, Shirley Lambert, Irving Leibowitz, Jan Marshall, Rose Penner, Ryan Pollock, Catherine Sachs, Julia Chanel, Hortense Selig, Dave Silverberg, Pauline Summerstein, Abe Sorokin, Cy Tannenbaum, Harold House, Regina Taussig, Helen Weinstein, Milton Weideman, John Henry Winston, Minnie Wolf, Gerson Saul Zeidman. We invite you to rise as we remember all of them and so many other people in our hearts, and all together offer the words of the mourners Kaddish in their memory. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma yirach ereteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayachon v'yomachon, v'chayed kol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah v'rach ve'olam olamei almayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yishba'ar v'yitermam v'yinaseh. V'yitzadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal shemei kedusha v'rilu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiram v'yalma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'ruha. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'kol Yisrael, kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us all, and together let us say, Amen.
Oseh shalom v'ruha. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael.
You may be seated, and I'd like to call up Marla on behalf of the temple board to offer a few announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi Cassie. Shabbat Shalom to all of you who are here in our patio, to all of our Facebook family, to all of our Zoom family members, and anybody else that would like to hear a Shabbat Shalom from Temple Bethel. We're blessed here this evening I'm not into astrology, but if you look up above, those of us on the patio, the stars seem to align themselves pretty directly. So I was trying to make sense of that, what that meant. What I came to realize is a reminder of how much gratitude that I know we all have for what we just learned and experienced this evening. I always say to you how pleased I am to represent the board of directors this evening. But it's bittersweet because I know when Rabbi Cassie calls me up, it's the end of services, and I don't want it to end. It's such a pleasure to be worshiping together, whether we're here in person or whether we're using this technology. It really doesn't matter. This evening, I want to share a lot of gratitude, and I think I said that maybe a week or so ago, but it seems to still and always be the case for Temple Bethel. A really big, huge thank you to Georgia Friedman Harvey. Wave. Well, they won't see you online, but those of us here can see you. She brought this inspiring and creative Sukkot to our Temple Bethel family. I hope many of you come during the week, take a look at it to experience it. And those of us this evening who are at services in its presence, it's pretty darn powerful. A huge thank you from all of us to Sandy Sherman for those lyrics that were our teachers this evening. And to Tom for your musicality and your voice. You both bring to all of us something unique and special. And you all, as we all listen, I'm quite sure made a difference in this service this evening. Thank you so much. Goes without saying, but I say it every time, and it's important to say, thank you to Rabbi Cassie for teaching us tonight, for helping lead us obviously in worship, and helping us to learn more about this joyful holiday. I found it interesting to hear how much joy we were learning about different parts of what we read. And I was thinking to myself, I don't care how many times it's mentioned or not mentioned, it's always joyful around here at Temple Bethel. And that was what I was reminded of. To Cantry Long, you know how it goes. That voice, that way you bring those prayers to God's ears, we're so grateful. It's sharing with us and bringing us joy as you lead us in prayer and song. Tons and tons of thank yous to the volunteers who made George's vision come true in building this Sukkot. Remarkable effort. Once again, our community steps up as individuals and then as family to do the right thing. And the guru of all time, the Renaissance man, Grant Carey, the design, the worker bee, the guy with the hammer, whatever it is that he does. With a guitar in one hand and a hammer in the other, I don't know. It's pretty remarkable. The result is this remarkable structure behind us that we've been witness to and experienced. The ability for us to have this structure, to be able to walk through it and worship with our symbols, and to see those remarkable photographs of family members that people provided, the artistry in their words and the blessings that they wrote and shared. It's just amazing. So grateful to be a part of this. It's time to do a little work here. I've got to remind you of some things that you already know about. We need an ad. It's a very important part of who we are. There is a Sukkot Dispersed service and Simchat Torah, which will be held virtually, a new word, virtually, this Monday, September 27th. Our Easter service of remembrance will begin at 6 p.m., followed by Simchat Torah, which will be in conjunction with the Reform Movement community. We will celebrate the joy of this holiday with song and story, join our voices together with Reformed Jews from literally across North America. Should be an incredible experience. Don't miss this program, and all of the virtual links that you'll need to use can be found in your weekly emails. I hope I remembered everybody. I think I did. I hope so. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. I think I said that early on, but said it again. And hugs from you. Take care. Stay well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marla, for all of that. For everyone who is online, we're gonna send you into virtual breakout rooms, and we hope that you will hang around. Even if you haven't eaten dinner yet, grab your dinner and bring it to your virtual breakout room so you can be together in community. I'm gonna stop the live share so that you don't need to be on Facebook as you meet. And for